Happy Spiritual Sunday to all of you. Thank you for joining us again. It's wonderful to have you back and for another sharing of the wisdom of Kabbalah of the Zohar to help all of us raise our consciousness, achieve the mission for which we came into this world, and as we'll talk about today, remove the pain, suffering, and death from the world. And I'm sure we all want that. I don't imagine there's many people on earth who, even in a 1% illusionary way, don't want the end of their pain, suffering, and death. The nice part is, because we're all one, that whatever we do to achieve that for ourselves in a spiritual, Kabbalistic, proactive way is going to change that consciousness for the entire world. And so, as we've been starting along the way, first we'll read from Karen while people are populating, from Karen's book, Simple Light, and then we'll do our affirmation, and then we'll get into the lesson and the meditation at the end, one of the 72 names. And it's even a little more powerful this week, because those of you who follow with the weekly energy from the 5 books of Moses, this is the week that the 72 names of God were hinted at, let's call it, in the 5 books of Moses. And in the Zohar portion this week of Beshalach, you have the whole explanation and the charts of how they took the 3 verses from Exodus and created the 72 names. So Karen says like this: when we decide to become spiritual, we have to take from the past what is real and leave everything else behind. It's like taking a shower and putting on clean clothing. If a person is trying to get close to God, he has to allow himself to be cleansed before he can put on new spiritual clothing. So the next time you experience a challenge, stop for a moment and remind yourself that God is only trying to encourage you to take a shower. Meaning those challenges, as we teach from Kabbalah 1 forward, the challenges in our life are our opportunity to remove the spiritual mud that's holding back the manifestation and the experience of all the amazing blessings that the Creator has already given each of us, planting that light in our soul and giving us the free will. And we decided our mission was to come here and make all that light and all those blessings manifest. Okay, so let's start boosting the next level of our spiritual evolution with our affirmation. So we say it together, engraving it deeper, stronger, not only in our mind, our consciousness, but also in our heart and soul, that it becomes more frequent an action, a behavior that we take day by day, minute by minute. Saying it together. Consciousness is everything. I raise my consciousness today to see the miracles and wonders of life. I commit myself to behave with greater love, compassion, and kindness towards all human beings. Okay. So as we just said, consciousness is everything. And so today I wanted to give you 4 steps of consciousness, defining how we make use of consciousness, because there's many ways to understand consciousness is everything. In fact, a while back, I put on one of a post on my social media, consciousness is everything. But if a person does not take action, then they are essentially in doubt. Consciousness is everything necessitates actions to manifest our consciousness. In fact, whatever actions we do moment to moment or in the bigger picture is a sign of what our consciousness really is. Many people can say, oh, I have great consciousness and this, that, I have certainty in the light of the Creator and whatever. But if the actions do not follow that spoken word, then the consciousness has to be somewhat doubt, uncertainty, or some spiritual mud blocking the actions of pure emanation of the light of the Creator from our heart and soul out into our world. And so let's start with one that's sort of the beginning, and it's maybe for some of you just another way of saying consciousness, is this idea of mindfulness. It's come up, it's like so many things. I've been doing this now for almost 40 years. And I've seen the world change. 40 years ago, there was nobody else teaching Kabbalah, nobody bringing the Zohar to the world. There was nobody going out to bring Zohar and Kabbalah to every person on earth. There wasn't a lot, there wasn't social media, there wasn't the internet, so it was much more limited what could be done to teach even spirituality. So mindfulness has come along, and I want us to be conscious. What does mindfulness really mean? To be conscious and to be aware. To be aware of what I feel, to be aware of what I think, to be aware of how I act. Let's start with that, just about me. Along the way, yes, to be mindful of things around us, be mindful, aware, and conscious about people around us, be conscious and aware, and let's even call it sensitive, as best we can, to the feelings, the emotional state of the people around us. Like we often talk about, in all these years I'm in the center, we used to go knocking on doors, as people would call it, cold calling, to bring this wisdom of Kabbalah to the world. And the Rav and Karen would always teach us, be conscious, be aware of the other person. In other words, yes, I can speak for me. I was very enthusiastic, still am, but back then, I was knocking on doors and okay, I'm going to convince these people about Kabbalah and whatever it was. And I realized over time and experience that I was not always being aware if the person I was speaking to was open and receptive or close-minded to what I was sharing. And I would just sometimes go on and on and on and on about Kabbalah and the wisdom and what it can do for you and, the power of the Zohar, all these different things. And like we now understand, if a person doesn't have an open mind, an open heart, an openness, or as we call it, the vessel, if a person doesn't have a vessel, a container, for even the best wisdom of Zohar and Kabbalah that I could offer, they're not going to catch it. And I'm basically wasting my time and their time and energies by continuing to speak when I could see, or I learned to see, that a person wasn't open. Like it was either their vessel was full or they weren't opening up their vessel. Okay, so we see it in many ways, simple ways, just on a daily basis. When a person is walking down the street and they're on the phone, are they mindful of the phone call, or are they mindful of the cracks in the sidewalk or the potholes or the other people around them? No. When they're walking and speaking on the phone, most of their consciousness, most of their mindfulness is about the conversation. And especially if it's what they think is important, whether relationship or business or something like that, they're less conscious and aware of the things around them. Similarly, when a person's driving, okay, the big thing, driving and texting. So when a person's texting, which is the majority of their attention, on the text or on the driving? And that's why we all understand that it's dangerous to try and do both. Person driving should be focused and mindful, aware and conscious about how they're driving, the cars in front of them, people around them, the lane that they're driving in, and on and on. Meditation is a form of making an effort to be mindful, to be conscious and aware of what? The thoughts going through you, the feelings that you're having, making sure you're consciously vibrating love, kindness, compassion, tolerance, forgiveness, gratitude, humility, all the light energies. In fact, unfortunately, most of the time, people walk around unconscious, meaning unconscious of the light, unconscious of their own behavior, unconscious about why they're here in this world, what we came to achieve. And this is why in Kabbalah 1, we start with what we call the proactive formula, the proactive method, which starts, as Karen said, when challenges occur, realize that in essence, it's the light wanting us or giving us the opportunity to wash ourselves of the spiritual mud and blockages of fear, anger, jealousy, ego, greed, insensitivity, guilt, shame, etc. The challenges are to help us, not to harm us. And so from Kabbalah 1, when a person is triggered by a challenge, there's either reactive or proactive behavior. There's acting on that automatic, basically unconscious, trained behavior of just scream, yell, fight, bite, the reactive, self-centered, as we call it, desire to receive oneself alone, give me instant gratification behavior. So it doesn't take any conscious thought because we're so automatically trained. If you're walking down stairs and you happen to miss a step, or how you misstep and you're about to fall, you get off balance, you don't think about, gee, should I grab this stair rail or not? It's automatic, it's unthinking, it's unconscious, because it's the previous behavior that we've trained ourselves to do in that kind of situation. Person is off balance, they reach for another person to grab, something to grab to have balance. So that's the essence of all reactive behavior. Person is, in their mind, balanced. Something comes along, something said or done or seen that triggers a sense of imbalance. Again, in all the ways, fear, anger, insecurity, guilt, resentment, jealousy, whatever it is. And then they just automatically reach for that instant gratification, so to speak, that balance. Scream and yell. They back off. Oh, now the person back to their sense of contentment, at least temporarily. Or, the way we teach it, once triggered, the first step is to pause. Pause. Yes, it takes some mindfulness to pause. The essence of pausing is to allow us to be conscious and aware, and therefore be able to do the free will action, the truly free will action of shining light into the darkness, shining light into the chaos of whatever that triggered situation is. So the first thing is, pause allows us to be mindful, to truly have free will. Because if a person is just reactive, it's not really free will. Like we said, it's just that automatic response to whatever the trigger was. First step, pause. Now I can be mindful. Now I can start to ask, what am I feeling? Because for me, what am I feeling in that moment? What emotion is triggered by that situation is essentially the mud that the light of my soul wants me to be aware is blocking my blessings, blocking the revelation of more light, blocking one's spiritual growth. Pause, be mindful, check, what am I feeling? Be mindful of what you're feeling. Most people, when they react, they're not mindful of what they feel, just react. Be mindful. Then when I can identify that emotion, then I can have the conscious thought and effort to shine the light out of me of whatever the opposite is. If the trigger is jealousy, then shining the light of gratitude, happiness for the other person's good. If the trigger is ego, shine the light of humility. That's how we take away our chaos and change our destiny in every interaction, every challenge comes our way. The next step in our spiritual growth from that, once we can become more conscious and aware, more mindful in the midst of challenges, then in essence, the more we can become grateful. Have gratitude. Now, a lot of people talk about gratitude, and I want us to understand it in these spiritual progress, the steps of spiritual progress. Gratitude, being thankful for what I have, being thankful for what I did. You made an effort to help somebody, have gratitude. I'm grateful that I was able to, and that I did take advantage of that situation to help that person. Or something that happened. Person has a near accident. They're grateful that they didn't have the accident. Sometimes we are, if I asked you now, and some of you may have heard me do this before because I learned it from my teachers, the Rav and Karen. If I asked you right now, 5 minutes ago, were you consciously grateful that you didn't have a toothache? Probably most of us, no, we were unmindful. Yes, now that I've asked you, you think, oh, yeah, I don't have a toothache. I'm grateful for that. Because I've awakened your mindfulness, your awareness, your consciousness that you don't have a toothache. And like Karen used to say sometimes, people will have an ache or a pain here and there, let's say an ache in their pain in their leg, until they see somebody on the street without a leg. Suddenly they're grateful that they have 2 legs. When there was a near accident, somebody, whatever, was just about to cross an intersection, a green light, and somebody whoosh, runs through the red light and misses them. Yes, after the heart stops pounding for a second or slows down, there's a sense of gratitude. Grateful that the accident didn't happen. Grateful that they weren't in that accident and all the negative things that would go with that. And there's a lot of people talk about, a gratitude book. Keep a record when everyday things that you're grateful for. Okay. That you're thankful for. I've learned in the center, from the very moment you wake up, the Kabbalists encourage us to be grateful for the fact we woke up. Even if you've got to face challenges, even if there's, things you have to do that maybe you don't feel so comfortable to do, or you don't have the desire to do, but you need to do them, just start with gratitude that you woke up, that your soul came back in your body. So you have another opportunity in this life to face those challenges, which are the spiritual mud, your spiritual mud, not the other person's spiritual mud. They have theirs, and that's why they do or say what they do. But your mud And whether you give in to the mud or make an effort to remove the mud determines your future, your destiny, what you get from that. So this is why Kabbalistically you can never point the finger at anybody else and say, they made you do this, they made you feel that thing. No, they may have triggered something in you. But as we often talk about, that mud is almost like a spiritual wound. So of course, somebody touches a wound, there's going to be a feeling. Like we said, if a person has a physical wound and somebody touches it, they have a physical pain. So spiritually, when a person has created a spiritual wound by actions of anger, insecurity, greed, selfishness of some form, it's a wound. And so when our soul wants to help us clear that mud, heal that wound, yes, the first thing is we've got to feel that wound, that mud. We have to feel whatever it is, the fear, the anger, the greed, the insecurity, the resentment, the jealousy. Then, like we said, with the mindfulness, something's triggered, pause. Now become mindful. Be aware. What am I feeling? Be conscious. What am I feeling? And acknowledge that's the mud. So yes, have a gratitude book. I encourage you every day, be grateful. Be grateful that you breathe. Be grateful that you drove down the street without an accident. Be grateful that your mind is working and you can remember things, or you can assess situations. You can have creative thoughts of what to do, what to say in your business, in your relationship. Be grateful for your relationships. You have family, you have friends, you have parents, you have children, you have partners, spouses, whatever. Be grateful. Be grateful you can see. You can see. Be grateful you can see, colors. You can smell things, whatever. Just be grateful. Be grateful for you and me. Be grateful we're here on Spiritual Sunday. Be grateful that we've come to the Kabbalah Center to have this wisdom. It's funny. Here and there, I meet people who, because, like I told you, almost 40 years I'm in the center, and there was nobody else out there teaching Kabbalah. Today, with the social, media and things like that, the internet, and because Rav Ashlag over 100 years ago started the Kabbalah Center for the explicit purpose of bringing the books of the Zohar and the wisdom of Kabbalah to every human being on earth. The Rav Brandwein was the disciple and the successor of Rav Ashlag. The Rav Berg was the successor and disciple of Rav Brandwein. And when Karen came into the picture, so it was the Rav and Karen, it was literally like light and vessel, and they were the ones who brought the wisdom of Kabbalah, or at least the familiarity of the word Kabbalah and the essence of what it was, worldwide, even before the internet. And so I've come along the way to meet people more recently who say, yeah, they're studying Kabbalah with this one and that one and whatever it is. Unfortunately, as Rav Ashlag wrote, the Baal Shem Tov taught, a lot of people who even teach Kabbalah, meaning read from the Zohar, read from the books of the Ari, things like that, but unfortunately, it remains intellectual. It's nice to know, it's nice maybe to have an understanding of there is a system in the cosmos, and there are angels, and there is a study of numerology and astrology or what have you. What Rav Ashlag, the greatest Kabbalist in the last 500 years, did was how to bring this wisdom to every person that we could live it every day of our life. Like we're saying now, faced with a challenge, what do I do? It's very down to earth. And that's why from Kabbalah 1, how to live on a daily basis this wisdom, how to manifest the light of your soul, your spirit into the world. Spirituality, what does it mean? Making use of and expressing all of the power, as we call it, the light of your spirit, of your soul. And so, back to gratitude. I am grateful that my soul led me through the death of my mother, which I've talked about here in Spiritual Sunday, that pushed me out of going down the path of medicine, being a doctor, into spirituality. And in my first exploration, yes, it was great, it was wonderful, and that was part of my journey to get to the Kabbalah Center in 1987. And so I'm extremely grateful for having come to the center, being led to the center, introduced to the center, and having so much opportunity, especially in the first 10, 15, 20 years, to be around the Rav and Karen more closely. As the center expanded to, tens of thousands of people around the world, and now I'm sure, hundreds of thousands over the years, millions, there were, more people, there was more to do, let's say, reaching out to all those people. And we created centers around the world so the teachers, instead of being basically all based in New York when I started and going out here and there, now we have centers that the teachers are out in all the different centers teaching, I have to say, more than full time out there, but just that gratitude. Okay. The next step along the path, mindfulness, gratitude, aware, thankful for the things that I've done, that you've done, that have happened to you, that you've achieved. Next is appreciation. And sometimes people put the two together, and I wanted to be very clear and specific in my understanding of the distinction between gratitude and appreciation. So, appreciation essentially, simple terms, means increased value. I always go back to the simplest example for me is, well, okay, you know what? I got the message. Let's say a piece of gold. Piece of gold. Gold is gold, right? The gold itself, 24 karat, pure gold, just a hunk of gold, has always been gold. Okay, so an ounce of gold when I was growing up was $32 an ounce. Today, an ounce of gold, whatever it is, $2,600, $2,700, $2,800. Is it a different piece of gold? Is it something other than gold? No, it's still the same 1 ounce of gold. So why did it go from $32 an ounce to, let's say, $2,800 an ounce? We call that appreciation, right? The value of the gold appreciated, which means what? Human beings decided that the value of that ounce of gold, for whatever factors, you can give me all the economics and this and this and this, but essentially human beings decided that that same piece of gold 60 years ago that people could buy for $32 an ounce, people decided that today its value is $2,800. So we decide the value. We determine what's a priority for us, valuable or not so valuable, or just not valuable at all. You and I decide individually and collectively. So we have to say on a collective level, a group of people, whatever, a mass of people decided gold is worth $2,800 an ounce. But individually, you decide. I know people who value good chopped liver, like tremendous value. For me, I don't care who made it. They say my grandmother made the best chopped liver on earth. For me, forgive me if you like it, but for me, there's no value in chopped liver. I do not value chopped liver. I don't like it. It doesn't taste good to me. So for me, it has no value. For other people, it's got a lot of value. So again, it's relative. It's the same chopped liver, right? Or the same ounce of gold, but people decide. So appreciation, like we said before, is increasing the value, right? If you had bought 100 ounces of gold at $32, not only did the value appreciate, but you'd be, right, very appreciative, meaning you suddenly find more value in that ounce of gold that you bought for 32 that you could now sell for 2,800. So appreciation is increasing value, seeing more value. And therefore, in spiritual terms, appreciation is seeing more light, more blessing in whatever it was, the same thing that was a minute ago, yesterday, however you want to say. Personal experience. So when I was bar mitzvah, my grandparents bought me or gifted me a diamond ring for my bar mitzvah. Of course, I was in like 8th grade, 13 years old. So I wasn't going to wear it to school. So it stayed in a box in a little cabinet in my room. One day, and I also would collect coins. So I had, it's kind of silly, I had this little, sliding drawer cabinet, and I put a lock on it. Mostly so I thought my sister wouldn't get in it, all right? Anyway, so one day, apparently somebody came in through one of the windows of our house, and nothing big, but took some of my coins, and I don't remember there was much else. Okay, so I realized, okay, they stole some coins. Yes, it was a little upsetting, this and this, but I went about my business. Maybe a couple weeks later, the police came, said they had caught the thief, and the thief had taken, if you know coin collecting, the plastic that the various proof sets or the min sets come in, uncirculated sets, and just, tore them open and spent, the coins that were in there as their face value. Okay, that was one thing. But then they returned my diamond bar mitzvah ring. I hadn't even realized it was stolen. But one, not only was I grateful that it came back, but I every day appreciated it. I felt even back then more value that it came back, more value that it was returned to me because it came from my grandparents. It was a special gift of love from them. So for a little while, I even wore it to school. I appreciated it so much. Yeah, I'm going to wear it. I'm going to, whatever, people see it. But I appreciated it. It had more and more value for me. Think about the things you take for granted. What does that mean? Not only are you not grateful, have you not established a conscious value of it, but for sure, you're not increasing that value every day. Until, heaven forbid, it goes away, or a threat of going away, suddenly it becomes valuable. So the essence is mindful is being aware in the moment. Gratitude is being thankful in the moment of what you have or did in your life. Appreciation is seeing those same things, the same people, the same business, the same car, the same whatever it is, and you seeing more light value in it. Because everything, the light is infinite. So there's more value that we can assign to everything and everyone in our life. The appreciation is up to us, not to anyone else. Somebody else, like I said, I don't value chopped liver. Many of you may value it. But if you value it, appreciate it even more every day. Look around your house. Look around your life. Do you have children? Yes, of course, we all love our children. Do you appreciate them more and more every day? When you wake up in the morning and you look at your house, do you appreciate the fact you have a home to go to? Do you appreciate you have a car to drive? Meaning, are you finding more value in it every day? And not just, okay, I was grateful I have a car, but it's the same old, same old. It's almost like depreciating. And then, well, Rav Ashlag explains appreciation, and now you can understand appreciation is the vessel for our next blessing. Appreciation is the vessel for the next blessing. Meaning, I have that ounce of gold. As I appreciate it more, see more light in it, the value of it becomes more and more. In other words, if I had bought an ounce of gold back then at $32 an ounce, and I'm holding it in my hand now, you say to me, oh, Chaim, appreciate it, it's worth $2,800. Okay, so the value's gone up. I now have, even though I haven't sold it, haven't done anything with it, but the vessel of value has gone from $32 to $2,800. Yes, now I go somewhere and I sell it, I will manifest the $2,800. So I've gained on the appreciation of that. So more we appreciate everything, we walk, talk, breathe, think, have cars, houses, whatever it may be. Even the challenges, appreciate the challenges. Opportunity to remove the mud. Find more value in it. Then you find more value in it, you're going to be more likely to do something proactive. Shine your light. Shine light into the darkness. Share transformationally. Share in an uncomfortable way. Go the extra mile to share your light because you value the opportunity to reveal more light through this challenge, to take off your spiritual mud. So, 1, mindful. 2, gratitude. 3, appreciation. Now, the more effort we make to be consistently appreciative, meaning to see more and more light in everything, everyone, every situation, then we come to the level called awe. A-W-E, awe. Awareness of the omnipresence of the light, the awareness that everything is of the light. Everything comes from the light. That there's light in everyone, everything, whatever it looks like on the outside, there is light. And that there is a light system that we would call cause and effect in everything. So everything in the world, everything that comes to my life is of the light to help me reveal more light. But we have to have that awe. It means in Kabbalistic terms, in the Hebrew, it's yirah. So sadly, that opponent has made people translate that as fear, the fear of God, the fear of God. But unfortunately, the word fear for 99.9% of us is a bad thing. I don't want to be in fear. You don't want to be in fear. So it's fear of God. And therefore, people have said, oh, see, look at God. God punishes, God rewards, God sitting up there judging us or what have you. No, not fear, awe, to see. It's the word to see. To be in awe is to see the light everywhere and everyone in everything. And the more we see the light in everyone, in everything, in every situation that looks externally good or bad, the more light we see, the more light we can reveal, the more light we connect with. So there's a very nice story, Rabbi Akiva, one of the great Kabbalists at the time of Rabbi Shimon, in fact, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai's teacher, it says, when he was on a journey, so he went to go, he traveled to cities to teach or whatever it was, and he goes to the local inn, and there's no room. The innkeeper says, sorry, we have no room for you. Okay, so most people think it's bad. Rabbi Akiva basically said, everything that the Creator does is good. Everything that happens is good. So he goes out in the field somewhere, and he's, settled with his donkey and, the candles that he's going to learn with. And in the middle of the night, a lion comes, eats the donkey, or kills the donkey and goes away. Okay, everything the Creator does is good. The light is always good. And then when he's trying to study and he's got his candles lit, he wakes up still in the middle of the night, and the wind comes and blows out the candles. Okay, now he's in the middle of the field. You're talking, 2,000 years ago. It's not like there were street lights. So again, not a good situation, most would think. Everything the Creator does is good. Everything is for my good. Meaning he could see the light in everything. He had absolute certainty that no matter what it was, the light was there. And it was for his good. And then the story goes, basically the town was raided by whatever, thieves, marauders. And because he wasn't in the inn, because the innkeeper decided for whatever reason, whatever way, not to have a room, it was good for Rabbi Akiva. The donkey, right, when these marauders were around, the donkey could have made noise that would have attracted attention, and then the marauders could have come to Rabbi Akiva. So the fact that the lion came and killed the donkey, again, a blessing. The light was in the business, as my teachers would say. And then the wind blowing out the candles, again, if they were, going out anywhere close to him, they would have seen the light and they would have known there was someone there, etc. So everything comes from the light. Everything is from the light for our good, because the light is only good. There's no bad in the light. Yes, people can use the power of the light in their soul for something bad, anger, hurt, jealousy, fear, whatever it may be. But our work is to see the light in every situation all the time, because the light of the Creator fills our soul. Therefore, with this power of infinite creation, we create our life. Collectively, we create our world. Do we, and it's probably the fundamental question of all of today, do we take for granted? Meaning, are we unaware, unconscious, ungrateful, and unappreciative of the light that fills our soul? Do we really take time to be aware, conscious awareness, the infinite power of the Creator and creation is in our soul? And I can create my life or recreate it better and better through the actions that I do. Do I have gratitude that I have light and that I've used it, even unconsciously, to have all the blessings in my life? Can I have appreciation that you appreciate the fact you have light, so when the next challenge comes, the light that's inside you has the ability of removing that mud, unblocking your soul, and manifesting greater lights and blessings in your life. Our desire is what determines how fast, how much, how focused, with what intensity we achieve our spiritual mission in this world, the revelation of all our light. So I'm sure you, like me, I'm tired of looking at the world and seeing all the pain, suffering, and death, all the chaos and the confusion in the world. We know it's not up to the Creator. You and I learn here, it's up to us, you and me, to decide enough is enough. and increase our efforts to spread the Zohar, to spread this wisdom, to teach every person on earth, to, as we talked last week, to bring so much light to the world that every person on earth will wake up, every person on earth will have that awareness and that conscious awareness of the light of the Creator inside them, that there is only one soul created by the Creator, infinitely filled with light, and there's only one body of humanity, even if we look like we're in 8.5 billion bodies, but we are one body of humanity with one soul, and therefore we have always, do always, and will always impact and affect every human being on earth and are being affected by. So spiritual growth is the only thing we came into this world to achieve, to manifest by sharing into the darkness, by manifesting, by shining our light into the challenges, through the challenging situations and people, by making that effort of uncomfortable sharing, shining that light, taking away the darkness, so that we can experience the infinite blessings of the Creator and unity of humanity in a bond of love, care, and peace. May it happen in our time soon. Amen. I want to thank you, those of you, I know a few of you have signed up for the supporters of the work, meaning to have a recurring donation to the center, just supporting our mission and allowing us to expand the project, spreading the Zohar, spreading the wisdom through the classes, reaching out to children, the teens, and the young adult classes that we have, and also recovery program, the Kabbalah recovery program, for those who are caught up in forms of addiction. So I put the link there again. If you haven't signed up for regular donation, please, whatever you can, whatever you're able to do, just put it regular. It allows you consistent blessings. It allows you to receive from 8.5 billion people on a constant basis. And as you put your love and your blessing in it, it helps speed up the process of reaching more people who are exactly at that, let's call it 50-50 level, and pushing them on the side of the light to do more, to have a greater, as we said today, awareness, gratitude, and appreciation, and creating greater awe. Imagine when more and more people can see the light operating in their life to the greatest, most minute detail for the good things that have happened, but also realizing that even the challenges are because like Karen said it, we read in the beginning, because the universe wants to help us take away the mud and reveal more and more of the blessings. So thank you for your continued support. And those of you who haven't signed up, again, anything, $1, $5, $10, whatever it is, be with love and gratitude for anything that you give, but give. The actions are what will manifest and make it grow in your life. Okay. We chose this name. This is one of the 72 names of God. And as I mentioned in the beginning, this is the week. If you follow along in the portion of the week, it's called the section of the 5 books of Moses for the week, because each week there's a unique section. So this week is the revelation of the 72 names of God, the splitting of the Red Sea. That's where the Zohar delineates what the 72 names are, how the 3 verses in the Hebrew text that contain 72 letters each were combined to create the 72 names of God. So this one, Daled Nun Yud. Enough is enough, as we said today, enough pain and suffering. Let's get rid of it by shining all our light. Go the extra mile, giving us the strength to go the extra mile of sharing. Stretch ourselves. Share a little more forgiveness and kindness and compassion and tolerance, apology, gratitude, appreciation. And never give up. Dalid Nun Yud. So just let, because each of the Hebrew letters are manifestations of a particular frequency of the infinite light of the Creator. So just let the shapes, as they emanate light, Dalid Nun Yud, go through your eyes, start to activate the light of the Creator that's already implanted in your soul. Activate that which you're already using on a higher degree, and activate that which has only been hibernating inside you. Be active. Dalid Nun Yud. So let the shapes and the names, Dalid Nun Yud, be engraved in your mind's eye. And then I ask you, sit comfortably in your seat, feet flat on the floor, hands in your lap. Begin taking a few deep breaths, breathing in through your nose. Hold the breath for a moment. Exhale through your mouth. Creating that circulation, not only of the breath, but also the light force that empowers the breath of life. That it begins cleansing some of the mud, the tension, the blockages that you've been holding on to up to this moment, allowing a greater circulation of the light extending from you out to the world, and therefore leaving the opportunity, the space for more to come in from above. And with each breath, relaxing into the warmth of the infinite light, the power of unconditional love of the light. Feel yourself embraced by the infinite light of the Creator as you relax. And allowing yourself to be more aware and grateful for the light that's in you, the blessings in your life. And let's see together the Dalid Nun Yud, just above our head, shining, vibrating, emanating the pure white light of the Creator. Allowing yourself just to breathe normally. See the beam of light from the upper worlds shining through Dalid Nun Yud, empowering it, that we can move forward, extend ourselves to grow spiritually, to shine greater light into our darkness of any challenge, expanding the light of all the good things that we do to yet higher and higher levels. Opening ourselves, our mind, our heart, to the inspiration and the guidance of our soul as we allow this energy, Dalid Nun Yud, to enter through the top of our head, activating more and more of the light inside of us as it comes to your mind, your consciousness, your brain, intensifying, heightening the voice of your soul over the voice of the opponent in your head. Listen for the inspiration, the guidance that it's giving you. Know that the Dalid Nun Yud is helping you to clear out all the limiting thoughts, the false thoughts, and reveal the thoughts of your soul, the truth that you and I are pure and perfect beings of light. All humanity created by the Creator, pure and perfect beings of light. And we're committing ourselves to remove our mud, supporting others to remove theirs, allowing the Daled Nun Yud to move from head to toe, specifically activating the light in our consciousness and in our heart. Daled Nun Yud. To have greater appreciation, more value in the light in us, the light in all the things around us, the light in all people. Increasing that value, grateful and appreciative, with the ultimate goal of complete awe, seeing the light in everyone, everything, all circumstances, all events, knowing that ultimately it's for our good. Daled Nun Yud. And together we take a beam of this energy and shine it out from our heart and soul, through the heart and soul of all our family and friends, all of our acquaintances, business associates, neighbors, activating the light of the Creator in their heart and soul. Appreciating, increasing their perception of the value of the light and their blessings in their life. And continuing beam of light from all their heart and soul to the heart and soul of every human being on earth, to all humanity, to all the parts of the one soul that we are and the one body of humanity. That all the wounded parts in each and every one of us are being healed, Daled Nun Yud, by the support, the clarity, the motivation, and the commitments to shine more light of love and kindness, forgiveness, compassion, generosity, tolerance, gratitude, appreciation, happiness, and unconditional love. That everyone is removing their mud because they're seeing the mud covering their pure and perfect souls. We are spreading the light all around the world, showering each and every person with the infinite light of the Creator, that we all have greater support, clarity, and awareness. Our life is in our hands. Our destiny is in our consciousness and the actions of consciousness that follow. And with the awareness that our actions of transformational sharing of our light is motivating each person to do the same. To see the light in everything comes their way, and to act like the light in response, removing all the mud, revealing, manifesting that pure oneness of all people, removing the chaos, negativity, darkness, discord in the world, and letting the light, by taking away the darkness, the divisiveness, the discord, reveal and manifest peace, love, unity among all human beings from this point through all eternity. Take note of this greater sense of love, contentment, serenity, peace that you're feeling, because we're sending light out to all humanity unconditionally. And together we take one more deep breath, anchoring this awareness, committing ourselves to these actions from this moment forward, and slowly exhale and open your eyes. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for all your support. Thank you for telling people about Spiritual Sunday and the Kabbalah Center. And please let them know we are on Facebook. It's here. It'll be today, tomorrow on the Spiritual Sunday YouTube page, on the Instagram channel. Let everybody know about what we do here, so that everybody has the opportunity to proactively and preemptively take off their mud, so that it comes with mercy, with greater compassion, and accelerates all of us entering back into the Garden of Eden. Have a great day and a great week. God bless, and see you next week.
Thank you for joining us. If you liked what you saw, subscribe to this channel that you'll be notified when we post new videos. Share the video with your friends, they can also benefit. And check out the website, www.kabbalah.com, that's Kabbalah, for hundreds of articles and classes. Wish you an amazing day, and God bless.